Huge news, we've got the biggest leak in gaming history on our hands. This is crazy news and we'll talk all about it. Block content. What's happening, my Block buddies, and welcome to a brand new episode of Blocked Content's Leak Speak. My name is Callum, and this is going to be your content for today. And it's going to be a very special, very interesting episode. Also, by the way, happy May the 4th, you guys. May the 4th be with you. Yes, today we get to talk all about this huge leak that is happening right now. It's actually advancing by the minute that I get to talk about it, but it's being talked about as the biggest leak in gaming ever, and it happened to Nintendo. So, of course, we are going to be talking about it. However, I won't be sharing any specific information on how to get stuff or where to find things. That's not for me to say, and that's not something that, we want to discuss on this channel. We just basically dream away at the possibilities, right? That's what we do. But yeah, we have to talk about the fact that this could happen, how this happened, and what exactly was inside of that information. And of course, Nintendo has had to deal with a lot of leaks and a lot of stolen information, even through the Switch's online features, right? The Nintendo codes and all our information was basically leaked out, and that's pretty crazy. That's a big security leak, but this is talking about something else entirely. This is talking about Nintendo games. This is talking about source codes for entire consoles. Yes, this is this huge. So let's talk about everything here. And I've been answering many of you guys' questions about Nintendo and Smash Fighters in our show Question Blocked, where I answer your questions. What do I think of your favorite game? How do you start making videos on YouTube? Well, whatever you can think of, send your question through to blockedcontentmail@gmail.com, and I will answer your question live on the show in our next Question Blocked episode. And here's a brand new giveaway. You can win one of these 4 Super Mario surprise capsules. There's a little character inside and they're so cool. We already opened one of them, but you can win one of these 4. So please like this video, subscribe to Blocked Content right now, and comment down below to enter for the giveaway. All right, guys, let's head into the main topic of today. And that's actually crazy, right? Let's talk about this huge leak. Well, apparently what happened was some people got inside of Nintendo's servers and actually got a lot of information that is like the source information. So they actually got the code for certain games, certain information that was never meant to leak out, like beta games or games that were never even developed fully, right? Stuff like that. Or, maybe even information on how to create those games yourself, to have the source code and to know how Nintendo does certain tricks. So these things are going to be a big deal for the emulation people, right? They're going to be able to see how Nintendo does things. They're going to be able to see how they construct their games and their consoles, and that's going to lead to a whole lot of advancements in that kind of a fan scene, which is weird to think about that's going to be in this quarantine. People are getting busy with stuff like this. So yeah, a lot of people have tweeted at me that Nintendo 64 was trending, and they were like, what's happening? Are we finally getting, Nintendo 64 games on Switch and all that cool stuff? Well, no, that wasn't really the case. Although I would have loved Nintendo 64 to get a little bit more love from Nintendo. I think that's going to happen with the Mario 35th anniversary stuff. At least I hope so, because that's going to be the big deal. If we don't get that Mario remaster and all those leaks were fake, or at least, that's not happening this year, I'm going to be very disappointed. No, this is something else. Nintendo 64 was trending because this is really terrible for Nintendo, right? The biggest leak in gaming happened, and even of Nintendo 64, a lot of information and even stuff like Earthbound 64 and some beta stuff that was never meant to be released has been released now. And this is of course highly illegal. All this stuff having it leaked, I mean, you can't be faulted for seeing it online or whatever, but of course sharing that information or downloading any of that stuff, that is something that you don't want to tread in, right? I can't really tell you how crazy this is, so I can't really say much about these specifics here because I don't want to put myself in a weird situation. But Nintendo servers were hacked, the design documents for consoles were leaked, and these were very, very secretive things that basically talk about all the ins and outs of not only the design of the console and the games and such like that, but also just the general mission statements, like the design docs for the Nintendo 64, the Nintendo GameCube, and the Wii. And what was even crazier than just those 3 consoles, even the source code for the entire Wii console was leaked as well. So that basically means that people know exactly the ins and outs of that console, basically the wiring, basically the programming of everything, and that's it's a good news for some people, right? In the emulation scene, I think people like Kays are going to have a ball with this, and they're going to really learn from everything. But I think that if you keep it to learning, that's a little gray area right there, right? I mean, you don't want to spread this information. Now, I've seen a lot of videos online already, and I try not to like spoil myself too much on this. It's kind of like that Last of Us 2 leak that happened, and I'm not going to talk about that at all. But I mean, that's crazy too. You got to like avoid stuff like that if you don't want to like spoil yourself on things that are never going to happen or something like that. But of course, like a channel like Beta64, a lot of these things just happen in the scene, right? So Pokemon debug builds were actually leaked out, so a lot of like beta Pokemon designs as well, the source codes for different Pokemon games, and even Nintendo 64 tech demo. So all those things that you would see, VHS tapes of on like these big trade shows or E3, those have kind of leaked out, and the games that we never saw the light of day, stuff like beta content for the stuff that we've loved all over the years, right? There's even something out there for Diddy Kong Racing sequel, right? Diddy Kong Racing for the Nintendo 64 was bound to have a sequel, which was going to be called Diddy Kong Racing Adventures, and that actually looks really cool. There's footage of it, and they talk about, the dev build was created on an Xbox because we didn't have the newest dev build for like a GameCube or whatever the console would be, but yeah, you could ride animals, and there was this big story, and it was totally crazy. And I don't really know what all of this will mean for the community. It's going to be huge. It's going to be something that will shatter a lot of people's vision of what they can do in this, and it already had a really big new development, and that's with Super Mario 64. And of course, a lot of people have sent this to me even throughout the Facebook chat as well, and it's been crazy to see Super Mario 64 now being back in the limelight. And it's not because of the 35th anniversary stuff that's going to make Nintendo pretty mad. No, it's about Super Mario 64 is now ported to PC. Yes, you can play Super Mario 64 on PC, and this is not emulation. This is not some sort of emulation tech or anything. This is like the code, the source code, and of course a lot of stuff like different textures are missing and very specific things, but they are working on it to get a full PC version of this game. So that's completely different tech, but this supposedly was also by people that just remade the code that learned from a lot of things, right? So there are different things going on in that leak scene right now, and I just want to warn you guys to not look up too much stuff about this. I mean, I'll share the news if there is any, and of course articles and people talking about it. I won't be really putting up videos of this stuff because that's highly illegal, because this information was just not meant to be leaked, right? And this is a case where, yes, we talk about leaks all the time, but this is like a company like destroying leak. This could really have a big downfall for Nintendo in a lot of areas. So I don't really want to contribute to any of that because we all love Nintendo so much. So yeah, what do you think of all this? It's pretty crazy. There's a lot more information to share about this, especially the stuff that's happening with the Nintendo 64. So I'm really curious what you guys think of this. Is your world shattered? Is quarantine getting even worse with people getting so bored that they like hack Nintendo's servers? That's crazy, right? So I'd love to hear what you guys think about all this crazy news. If you comment down below, that could actually be featured and read out loud in our next video. And today's comment question is, what do you think about the biggest leak supposedly in gaming history? And as for a previous comment question winner, our answer comes to us from our user Luis Manchado, saying, characters I want in Smash: Ratchet and Clank, Raiden from Metal Gear Rising, Jak and Daxter, Big Daddy from BioShock, Dante from Devil May Cry, Sora from Kingdom Hearts, Booket DeWitt from BioShock Infinite, Sir Daniel Fortask from Medieval, Tifa from Final Fantasy VII, Conquer from Conquer's Bad Fur Day, and Rex from Xenoblade Chronicles 2. Luis, I wanted to thank you so much for your comment because I laughed really loud because the first couple of names that you mentioned, I was like, don't you mean PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale 2? Because like most of these are like Sony characters or appeared on like PlayStation first. That's totally crazy. Like I was reading like Raiden, Ratchet and Clank, Jak and Sora? What's going on here? So, and of course Big Daddy also being in PlayStation All-Star Battle Royale. So either you're a big fan of that game or you're just a big PlayStation fan, and of course there's Conquer in there. There is Rex from Xenoblade in there. These are great choices. If I had to pick my top 3 out of this, I would say I've always been a fan of Raiden from Metal Gear Rising and of course Metal Gear Solid 4, Guns of the Patriots. I think that was a really special design for Raiden, and I even had him in a fan game that I made. There was the Raiden from Metal Gear Solid 4, Snake, it's my turn to protect you. That was so cool. And the intro cinematic of his character in Metal Gear Solid 4, I've always wanted that character in Smash, so maybe it'll happen someday, right? I mean, maybe if they make another sequel to it and maybe Kojima gets involved, it's a whole big thing. But thank you so much for sending in your comment. I mean, it really made me laugh and it really made me dream away, and I mean, that's what this channel is for, so thank you. And of course, thank you everyone for sending in your comments. These are so much fun to read through. And of course, a big shout out to our latest Patreon supporters at the super chats during our live streams. You guys make block content possible. So if you want to have yourself created in pixel art, or join me for a live chat, or even have your own ideas become animations, go to patreon.com/blockedcontent. There's a bunch of incredible rewards there, and they're waiting just for you. Remember, if you're not yet a member of the Blocked Content family yet, hit subscribe now, smash that like button, and ring the bell for notifications, and all the news and fun you care about will be delivered on the daily to you. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you around the corner where there's always more Blocked Content. See ya!